Let me take my gigantic, ugly hand out of the picture there.
So welcome everybody to Tuesday Talks with Wendy. And today's Tuesday, and we're here today with Dawn Condon from Connected Living in Sudbury, Ontario. And I really she's part of my incredible group that I have of wellness warriors, and part of this series that I'm offering throughout the month of April. And I'm actually, if you hang on guys, May, I think I was going to be doing a little bit even beyond the boundaries of Northern Ontario and talking to a lot of people online, but just can wait for that as I set that up for all of you guys. But today we have the beautiful Dawn Condon here. So I'm going to just let you, Dawn, introduce yourself and just tell everybody a little bit about what you do and what you offer.
Well, thank you, Wendy. I'm really honored that you asked me to do this for you. I've been following you for a while now, and I really, really admire the work that you've done. And I think it's really great. Like, I would love to, see more people like picking up these kinds of habits. So I think it's kind of interesting that we're all going online now, because it gives us an opportunity to talk to those people who maybe haven't thought about, those kinds of rituals, and I always call them rituals in our lives, because we've been too busy. We've got other things on the go. We're always the last one on the list. So I think it's really, really wonderful that what you're doing here, and actually all of us wellness warriors. So I was just saying as you were starting to talk there, it's just like, oh, I realized that I had my hands on my face. I was like, I can't stop touching my face.
No, me neither. It's the one thing that they keep telling us not to do, and I'm always like,
Yeah, I'm falling on my face. So this is interesting because, we get into habits, right? We're habitual creatures. And so my company is Connected Living, and I'm a yoga teacher and a yoga therapist. I'm a fitness instructor, a personal trainer, and a wellness coach. And one of my jobs is to help people understand our habits, understand our habits and sort of why we're doing what we do, along with, are they serving a purpose? Like, what purpose are they serving? And is that purpose to our better good, right? A yoga practice is all about like digging and diving and peeling away the layers to really understand why and who we are, and to just like get so deep and into the core of the fact that we are more than just the things we do every day, like get up and feed the kids and go to work and come home exhausted. We are more than that. And if we can allow ourselves just time to dive and dig a little bit, we can realize that those are just habits, or often just habits. And those habits we've fallen into, for whatever reason we've fallen into them, if we develop them as habits, we can change them. We have the opportunity to change them, right? So so it's very fascinating to me, this whole time frame that we're in right now, and all of us being forced to just sit still, and be where we are, which is really difficult. Wendy, you and I were talking about that earlier, how difficult it is for those of us who are control freaks, right?
Yes.
To just sit still and let whatever's happening happen, and take this time to understand how we're reacting to all of this. Because when we understand where we are and how we are reacting, we can change the reaction. We can change it from reaction to responding.
Yes. It's very important. I know we talked about this too, as a part of letting go and allowing. I know you and I believe the kind of the same aspect of allowing God or the universe or just nature itself just to take over and do its own thing, and just allowing that process to happen naturally, because it's going to happen naturally, whether we, try to change it or whatever. All we can do is basically, like you said, change our reaction to how things are presenting in front of us at this time. So
Right.
it's a hard lesson for a lot of us, I think, but it's obviously one that we need.
Yeah. And I mean, who but God could do this to the whole world? Is just to say, all right, you guys, you're just going to sit still for 5 days or 5 months, until you figure it out. You're just going to sit still. That's the end of it.
Yeah. It's very different times right now, and I think that a lot of us online entrepreneurs and people that are shifting into the online world, have this opportunity to be able to show our skills, our expertise, our knowledge, share all this wonderful healing capabilities that we have with such a bigger audience right now, because they need us. They need us. I was just talking about this on another live that I did this morning, was we have so much to offer, and now this is the opportunity for us to really shine to those people, and this opportunity just to reach out to the world basically at this point.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, in my business, the work that I do is one-on-one, face-to-face, in groups, teaching yoga classes, working one-on-one with clients. So being in their presence is, part of the whole process. And having to switch to an online platform, although I'm familiar with, because I do have videos out there, but it's a very different aspect. It's a very different energy. And it's actually been a really, really wonderful experience. I work with a lot of seniors. And so, being forced to stay in is something that I never recommend to seniors, because it's a big health determinant, right? Our access to social environments, to social situations, and movement. And seniors, are the least touched of our group across the board. And as we get a little older and possibly our friends die, or we stop working, or our spouses aren't around because they may have passed as well, our world gets smaller and smaller. And so this becomes a health determinant. We stop moving as much, and we stop going out and seeing other people. And so for me, like, having us all be sort of quarantined and stuck in the house has been a bit of a concern for me. So this online platform gives me the opportunity to stay connected to them, and them to each other, because we share the screen. And so we're all sort of, it's almost like we're being in the same room, but we have a nice little chat beforehand, and we have a little chat afterwards, and everybody gets to talk. So it's just as though we were in the yoga studio anyways. And this morning, the class, everybody at the end, the dogs were all scratching at the door, wanting to get into the spaces that everybody was in. So I said, well, just open the door and let the dogs come in. So everybody's dog was in there. We had a cat, 2 people had cats. So I took a screenshot. A couple of people left already before we got a chance to do that. But, so I took a screenshot of the dogs that was sitting there. So it's been really, really interesting, because sometimes in some yoga studios, there isn't that community. You're running in, you're running out, or in a gym or something like that. You're running in, you're doing your thing, and you're running out, and you're not really spending. You might say hi to somebody and just run through the door. But here in Connected Living, it's a real community. So we spend a lot of time, being together, getting to know each other, and people are part of the group and the community here, and part of the tribe. So, being away from each other has been like so it's been really nice to connect to each other through this platform of Zoom, or any of the other platforms, because there's a few of them out there. So it's been really nice to stay connected, even though we're physically far apart from each other. And I think it's forced us to contact people we haven't talked to for a long time. I can't tell you how many people that I have not spoken to for probably a year that I'm sending messages to, and saying hi, and actually picking up the phone and calling. And so it's been this really interesting experiment in shifting us running from human doings to human beings.
Yes.
Starting to really understand that. And that creates this understanding that, well, if it's not important to have the latest iPhone, what is important, and maybe those rituals around self-care and care for each other, become more obvious. And so the work that you and I both do, really brings that out into the foreground now. So thank you for doing what you do, because it's important work as well.
Well, I believe totally. I mean, it really just says it even in the name of your business, Connected Living, and that really just makes sense to me, to have that connection with people, whether it be in person when we can get back to that, or through the online space, which is so very important right now. The type of yoga that you offer, and because you're dealing with seniors a lot, do you offer any kind of instructions or like tech advice for your clients or people that are really wanting to reach out towards you and do this kind of thing, even if that's kind of new to yoga or new to Zoom or all these different things? Do you have advice for stuff like that for them?
Oh my God. I've spent, okay, so my business is built on, so I call my programs Yoga for Real People.
Okay.
So, I mean, I have a large contingency of seniors, but I have also a large contingency across the age groups. So, people who have health conditions, no matter how old they are, people who have maybe more generous proportions, who would feel intimidated in going into a yoga class or another yoga studio. Just people who have never thought that yoga was for them, beginners, people who are completely new to yoga. So those are my specialties. Those are the people that I love to bring in, because once you start to realize how wonderful this practice is, it just becomes part of your life. You'll wonder what you did without it before. So most people are okay, with online work, but there is a large group out there. I just did it again. My face.
I would do it always. Yeah.
So habitual. So I've had a lot of people who are not familiar with they may have a cell phone, they may have a tablet, they might have a laptop or a desktop, and they'll use it sort of email or maybe cruise YouTube or something like that, but not really use the device, to a bigger extent. So getting into Zoom or some of these online conferencing programs is actually quite simple, but for some reason as humans, we manage to make the process harder than it actually is. So I have spent a lot of time on the phone with people walking through the process and helping them try to set up. And my God, hats off to those people who work on the other end of the phone on the service, lines and support lines, because I've been that person where I have no idea what you're talking about. What box? I don't know what a modem is. What flashing lights? There's 7 flashing lights here. Yeah. So now I'm the person on that side trying to walk somebody through the process on the other side. So it's been a real learning curve for me. And certainly, as a yoga teacher, I've managed to build a lot of patience and of course compassion for people. I totally understand where you're coming from. But it's been another sort of like, let's get more compassionate, let's get more patient. We are where we are. And my practice this morning, the class was all about, you are here, you're here now, just be here now. Where are you? Like, there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go, right?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Because I know I have like part of the process that I try to bring to people with regards to my programs and nutritional consults and stuff like that is the fact that we have to employ this joyful movement into our lives. So, and my clients specifically are a lot of times older women that are not really more of the athletic type, and and this kind of yoga exercise, any kind of gym work or whatever, can be quite intimidating for a lot of people. Absolutely. I know when I was teaching yoga, I would really, again, attract the type of person that was kind of scared to roll out their mat. Like they were, okay, when they did roll out their mat, they were like, okay, well, what is she going to make me do now? And all these different things. So although I'm not teaching yoga anymore, these are still the type of the people that I talk to, and I try to say, okay, well, Dawn is the type of person you have to go to because she understands you. She's going to, just allow you to be exactly where you are right now as you step on the mat and work with that kind of situation. And I think that's an amazing, amazing quality because we tend to get intimidated a lot of times through what we see online and through Instagram or Facebook. And, we see these beautiful young girls that are, string beans, and they're putting their toes behind their ears. And we're thinking, oh, I can't do yoga. But from my perspective, I know yoga can be very much just sitting on your mat and breathing. And that's
Absolutely.
what I love that you can offer people a lot of times. And
Yeah.
I think in this day and age, well, not all we need, but a lot of what we need is just like that sitting and being quiet and breathing and having someone just be present with us at the same time, at which we can do so very nicely through the internet right now. So it's really
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a really blessing to have you around like this for us,
Well,
Don.
thank you. Thank you very much. It is, like I always say, that's not gymnastics.
No.
Not gymnastics. That's fancy pictures, pretty pictures.
Hmm.
Or sorry, that's not yoga. That's gymnastics.
Yeah.
It's fancy pictures and pretty pictures, but that's not what yoga is all about at all. I often will say to people, listen, if you come into the studio and you lay on your mat and just breathe for 60 minutes,
Yeah.
you're doing yoga.
Yeah.
Yoga is a philosophy about how we approach our lives, because how you do yoga is how you do everything. And we only see yoga as the asana practice, which is that physical practice. And we get deluded into thinking that those lovely pictures of people doing these great gymnastics poses is yoga, just like we get deluded into thinking a lot of things are not the reality, right?
Hmm.
We think that being, tall and skinny and blonde is what we should all look like. And you
Yeah.
look around a room and who nobody looks like that. So
No.
we all look like real people. That's what we are, just real
Hmm.
people doing our thing, moving through our lives and trying to make connections. And so yeah, just so give yourself permission. Just give yourself permission to be a little curious, about what would
Yeah.
what would happen if I tried that? What would happen if I just came in and sat down on the mat?
Hmm.
What would happen?
Yeah. That's
Miracles could
amazing.
happen.
It's amazing. And I believe it's such a needed thing. I mean, even beyond the fact that yoga is kind of a fad thing now and whatnot, but I think once you do step on the mat, it becomes more than a fad. It becomes part of who you are. That's from my perspective anyways. I know yoga has touched me very deeply on many, many levels as a person. And I had started back when my babies were born and, and I got this VHS tape and put it in and tried to lose weight after I had babies.
Yeah.
But it became so much more than that. And if people, even if your perspective is just, okay, I want to have a little bit more flexibility, then great, step on the mat. If you want to go a little bit deeper, it allows you to have whatever you need from yoga. And
Yeah.
that's the wonderful thing about it.
Yeah. Yoga is just a tool.
Yeah,
Just a
yeah,
tool.
for
That's,
sure. Is
yeah.
there any other programs or anything else that you would like to share with people today?
Well, I do have a couple of offerings. I'm developing a private group, so you can keep an eye on my page for that private group. And in that private group, we'll have lots of really great content, exclusive content just for the group. So there'll be some yoga practices in there. I'm hoping Wendy will offer a few little things to that group as well. I do have a program. So interestingly enough, a couple of weeks ago, I realized once we were getting online and things started to look a lot more serious than they were. And I started hearing a lot of stories about the healthcare system. And I realized that the healthcare and the front line, first responders, the police and fire, 911 operators, all of these people are going to be working really, really hard to keep us safe. And so I offered a free spot to any of them a free spot to any of them in any of my classes. And somebody heard about that, and what they did was they purchased a 10-class pass and topped that up.
Nice.
So, I mean, I have room, it's not like I don't have the room, it's online, so there's room for everybody. So the first responders, healthcare, frontline healthcare workers, and that includes those people who are cleaning the hospital, those people who are still working in the cafeterias and the kitchens, you're all working really, really hard, those essential services, to keep that healthcare system, there so that when
running properly,
things happen and it doesn't become overwhelmed. So if you are somebody in that team, just call me, message me. You'll find my contact info on my Facebook page, Don Condon. yeah. So, and you're welcome. I'll just send you a link to whatever class works for you. And then now that I've got this beautiful little top up, there's room for like lots more people. So that's a really wonderful thing. That's from my heart to yours. And then what else have I got? Wow, like there's just, so
It
much.
can be a little overwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of,
I know because I've nursed for like the last 30 years and I've just recently gotten out of that and into the more alternative healthcare kind of situation. I still have a lot of my friends and colleagues or past colleagues from the nursing home setting. And this is one of the places that I'm actually going to send them that information with regards to that as well. And because I know the nursing home staff, the PSWs are busting their asses right now to keep up. They have been all along, but at this point too, they are doubly working their arses off. And and I'll definitely send that information along to them because we need them as much as we do the hospital workers, as we do the janitorial staff, as we do the grocery store workers, all these different people that are out there putting up with us on a daily basis, our anxiety and our panic attacks and our masks and our gloves and everything else. So they have to do it on a 7-hour basis every day. So
thank
hats
you.
off to a lot of them for sure.
For sure. So
yeah,
what you got coming up other than you've got a little secret coming for the month
of
May?
Well, within the next 3-week period, I'm going to have about a 3 webinar series coming up. I call it Maintain and Sustain, and these webinars are going to be focused in on our frontline workers to be able to, look at keeping their health properly maintained, keeping their energy levels up, refueling, rebalancing, all these different things. And it's going to go hand in hand with a program that I've set up because I haven't, I'm not deemed essential. I've had to really close the doors on my one-on-one counseling and live blood analysis. So I put together a program for our frontline workers and for people that are sitting at home and just want to say thank you to our frontline workers for doing what they are doing. And, and this program is going to hopefully give them a perspective on how to sustain their energy through proper eating and offering them actually a nutritional consult as well. So really cutting my prices like down 75%, I think, and just giving them a nutritional consult and then offering them an opportunity for, just keeping themselves healthy during this time. I think it was a stat yesterday, and I know we're going back a few weeks now, but 1 in 10 healthcare workers are being diagnosed with the COVID-19. So we can't afford to have them get sick. They are looking after us right now, and we have to really push to maintain and give them every opportunity to continue doing the jobs that they're supposed to be doing for us. And I think this is a wonderful way through yoga that you're offering for them to sustain and maintain their health. And so they can help us, in the return, basically.
Yeah, how wonderful. Isn't it amazing? Aren't you finding it amazing that we are all just like really understanding like empathy?
Yes.
More, like it's so interesting that people are reaching out and connecting and really concerned with other people now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. And I think when it does come down to it, if anything good comes out of all of this is that we're finding ourselves to be so connected. I mean, I was looking at, I fell down a rabbit hole this morning on Facebook with regards to celebrities that are saying that they have COVID-19. But it's not just American celebrities. It was celebrities from around the world. And it kind of hit me in a spot to say that, yeah, this is not just Northern Ontario that this is going through, or Ontario or Canada or the States. This is worldwide. And it really has made the world very small and made us all one big connected community. And we're not, it's not just stopping at the border. It's not just stopping at one type of person or one race of people. We are all going through this together, all people, all races, all nations, everybody. And we have to really be there for everybody, I find.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, that squabbling that was happening, prior to this hitting, it was just reaching that crescendo that I think people were just so on edge, and then this hit. So it really, I think, is, like, as I said earlier, it's that, God saying, okay, you guys just need to stop, like,
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
It's like a mad parent, an upset parent, eh? You
Yeah.
know,
Go to your
like,
corner.
yeah. I'm going to
Stay
turn
there
this
and be
car
quiet.
around. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I, yeah, it may get a lot worse than it before it gets better in this world, but maybe it's just that and I don't mean to make light of it, but it's a wake up call. It is really, hopefully it's a wake up call for people, because you know, and we're getting into some deep subjects here, but I mean,
Yeah.
the world, the climate, everything is such a big shift right now. And it's these wake up calls that if we don't take heed to them, there's going to be some crazy stuff going on in the world, unfortunately. So
Yeah. And that's the interesting thing for me about yoga, is to hear those whispers. Like, the more time we get to sit still, the more opportunities we have and take to sit still, the more fine tune our receptors become, right? To shifts where we start to understand that something isn't quite right, and I know I need to make a shift.
yeah, yeah.
So
And hopefully, with the things that are quieting down, we will begin to listen a little bit more. Like
mhm.
you said, we'll be able to hear those tiny whisperings, and we won't be able to just drown them out in the chaos that's been going on a daily basis.
Hmm.
So,
Well, with the work that you're doing, Wendy, and hopefully with the work that I'm doing, we'll be able to get that message out there to people in a much better way.
yes, yes, and that's one of the reasons why I just love our group so much.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you so much, Dawn, for coming on and sharing all the wonderful love and caring that you do have for all of us. I will put links below to all of your information, contact information, your group, your email, and any ways that people need to connect with you. I will put that out there. And even if it's not clear enough and you need some guidance, just connect with me and I will get that information to you, or I will direct you towards Dawn and all of her wonderful offerings. So thank you
Yeah,
very much, Dawn, and we will talk soon. Take
you're
care.
welcome. Namaste.
Namaste.